I know that it's been a bit since I've actually gone on here and um, done a thing, but I have been, as many people have been, I've been busy. We all been busy. Um, and let's see, what was it? Not last week, the week before last week, I was closing down the school year, which is always a really, really super hectic time. So thank you so much for bearing with me um, on that one. And then last week, we've just been kind of like getting ready to take off, and I really just sort of needed the downtime. And given the eclipse energy, we had the Mercury retrograde and we had Mercury square Neptune, and that just all made, I don't know about you, but it made me feel totally like kind of like off. I was kind of like off off in some other outer space planet. It was it's always lovely. It's always awesome, right? Okay, so but yeah, so I haven't been on here for a while, and things have started heating up. School ended. We're preparing to travel, and something I have not shared with I don't know if I shared this with all of you, but Kim and I are both I feel like I've got a good representation of all the mutable, the cardinal, and the fixed signs, thank goodness, in my chart. So I feel like I have a good idea of what each of those modalities mean and how to work with them. Um, but we're Kim and I, since my rising sign is Pisces. Pisces is a mutable sign, and mutable signs are Gemini, Pisces, Sagittarius, and um, Gemini, Pisces, that Virgo. There we go, Virgo. And so both of us, for our ascendants, we have mutable signs. So that tends to be what we lead with, is mutability. So mutability is in trips are especially great for noticing what the guiding energy is for a person. So let's say you're going on a trip and you're going to have a person who plans. They're the planner. They want to make sure that everything goes according to plan. Chances are that that person has a lot of fixed energy, either has a fixed ascendant, meaning in fixed signs are Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and let's see here. I'm trying to think. I've got uh, and Taurus. So Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and hold on just a minute. I got it. Scorpio and Aquarius. Aha. Okay, so that's fixed energy. These folks are going to make sure that there's a plan and that we stick to it, and we're going to carry that through. They want to know what's going on. Some more than others, of course. Then you've got the cardinal. The cardinal folks that's going to be, let's see here, that's going to be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and and Capricorn. These folks are going to be the ones that are like, let's get this done. Let's go. I've got the energy for it. I'm gonna, and they start writing things down. They start brainstorming. They start doing things like that. Okay, so you need in life, you've got your cardinal people who are like, let's go do this, and then you have the fixed people that are like, let's finish this, and then you have the mutable folks, and the mutable folks are, and just coming off of Gemini season, we have a good idea, I feel, of what mutability feels like. It's like kind of scattered energy. We have Gemini is mutable, Virgo's mutable, Gemini, Virgo, uh, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Those are the four mutable signs. So these mutable signs are kind of like, oh, okay, now it's time for things to change. And so I'm getting a little bit nervous. And so you start to like gather things and need to disperse things and need to make sure that everything is done. Blah, blah, blah. So Kim and I both are very, very mutable, and we lead with our mutable signs whenever it's time for a trip. And so here we are, we're kind of like wandering around in our little mutable frenzy. And so that's been fun. I just figured I wanted to share that with you, and I'm really curious to know what it's like for you to like plan a trip. I know that we're in a time right now where things are starting to open up, and it's totally fun, and um totally fun for some, but I'm going to talk a little bit more about this a little bit later on. But yeah, so it's time to travel. um you know for folks that are mutable, you may not see us doing anything, and it's like, oh my goodness, this person is never ever ever going to do something, but when it's time, it's time because it's like then we're going nuts. Anyway, so it's kind of fun. Anyway, so right now I'm going to go ahead and show you we are now in Cancer season. Woo woo, we made it through Gemini season. It's so crazy because Cancer season really snuck up on me. I don't know if you joined me for Mary England's Play Shop on Friday night. It was on Friday night at 8 but it was amazing. Number one. Number two, I personally don't have that much Cancer in my chart. My Cancer is kind of like deficient a little bit. I'm a little Cancer, Cancer, Cancer adept, I guess. And so and something I really, really thoroughly enjoyed was how she really took us into what it feels like, that realm of Cancerian energy. And as you know, every single person has Cancer in their chart. And so the way that you like your relationship with Cancer should be illuminated throughout this month. And so you'll feel it, and especially this week with a couple of the transits that are happening. But I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as I typically do. Let's see here. Oh, I don't know if it's going to allow me to do. Oh yeah, it is. Silly me. All right. There we go. All right. Here we are. All right. So here is the current chart for what's happening right now. So the moon is in Scorpio, and depending on where your Scorpio is, if you've been feeling a little bit discombobulated, this may help. This moon in Scorpio may help. It's gonna, again, Scorpio is fixed energy. The moon is your emotions, and so this is going to allow you some time to like really dive in and give yourself some time to just like really explore your inner feelings. I know some folks have been feeling like it, they've been disconnected somehow from their intuition, and a lot of that has to do with the Mercury retrograde square Neptune, blah blah blah, eclipse energy. That's a lot. It's been a lot, and it's been really fuzzying. I guess if that makes sense, if that's even a word. But anyway, so the moon is going to actually help you to tap into that emotional energy, and then the fixed energy of Scorpio. Whoo, that's even deeper. So if you have strong Scorpio energy in your chart, you might be feeling this, and just use that. I say use that, if you've been feeling disconnected. So that might be helpful. Saturn and Uranus. This is like this has been the transit throughout the entire year. Saturn and Uranus, Saturn square Uranus. It's this one right here. I'm going to point it out. Let's see here. Yeah, Saturn square to Uranus, right along this line here. This is revolutionary energy. And so if you're noticing that there's, just sort of this like push pull of, folks that are wanting things to happen, but then you're noticing like a pushback. It's like, I almost feel like it's almost like giving birth. It's revolutionary energy. Things are happening. We're pushing through. That's what this is. They continue to be big players, and today's moon may also stir up emotions that have to do with just, being sick of restrictions and wanting things to go back to normal. I don't know how many times I've read online, I want things to go back to normal. I'm sick and tired of COVID, and I'm ready for it to go back to normal. And I feel like almost saying, like, every time you say that, man, you're buying us another week, like, so just, mm, um, but yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyway, Mercury's been easing up with its square to Neptune here. It's not such a heavy. You see this little square right here. It's not such a heavy line anymore. It's a light square, a gentle square. Um, so yeah, it's going to be making another hit, but the next time it does, it's not going to be retrograde. So remember that this can cause a bit of confusion and general feeling of wires getting crossed and things. But right now, that it's just at the tail end of that transit. But since Mercury is retrograde at this moment, but yet tomorrow it'll be stationing direct, it's going to come back and hit that square again with Neptune, and that might bring up that that kind of feeling like what's going on once again. So we also have the sun trine to Jupiter right here. Here's the sun trine to Jupiter. And this can bring up a feeling of expansiveness. It can bring up a feeling of joy. It can also make you feel a bit ungrounded. And especially since Jupiter is in its home sign of Pisces, and Pisces it likes to kind of like fly above and be floaty, floaty. So I suggest that if you have a grounding practice, do that grounding practice. If you don't have a grounding practice and you're not really sure what that means, just do a minute of, just going inward and imagining you have a seed in the center of your heart, and then envision that seed just kind of like growing. So it grows roots, come and those roots grow all the way down into the ground, down into the center of the earth. And do not let those roots go anywhere. Allow them to wrap around rocks and da 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 da, so that you start to feel grounded, and allow yourself the rest of the seed that's in the center of your heart to move up out of your head and out into branches, so that you can feel rooted here in this earth. So, yeah, I hope that that's helpful. But again, yes, we are officially in Cancer season. And if you haven't caught the Play Shop with Mary England, please go do that. It's going to help a lot, even if you're not a Cancer. I think a lot of folks might think that if your sun sign is not the sun sign of that we're gonna be talking about for the month, then it doesn't apply to you, but it does. You have no idea how much it really truly does, because your moon could be in that sign, or your Mercury could be in that sign, and that's the way you express yourself, or your Venus can be in that sign, and that's the way um, that you attract people into your life, or attract or it might have to do with your values. So each of the signs is critically important. Having some sort of literacy of what each of those signs means is so critically important. So anyway, speaking of Venus, we have Venus trine to Neptune right here. See this little it's a little girl sign. You see that? It's trine to Neptune. And this could bring up all sorts of feelings of love and connection. Now, feel like the world is going back to normal and masks are flying off, and this is great. But yet at the same time, it can be hectic, right? Some people don't want hugs. And like I know that my wife is one of those people. She's just like, I really, really like the pandemic, because that was when it became not okay to hug people, because she's just not a hugger. And so it's really important just to keep those sorts of things in mind as we are attempting to go back to normal, which I personally feel is just kind of, I don't know if it's ever going to happen. Things are not necessarily going to go back to the normal that we expect them to be. I had my sinuses tickled today. Like, so I'm like, what else can we add to the flight, to the whole like travel thing that makes it weird and awkward? We've got machines that can see underneath our clothes, and we've got, things that are going up our noses. The world is a little bit weird right now. Anyway, so, but yeah, it's at this time when things are going back to normal, it's also bringing up for people, oh yeah, remember when it's great. when it's great to get together with people, but then there's also like the downside of getting together with people because then it's like, oh, you got to deal with all that perfume, or I don't know, like things like that. So just something to think about. Um, but yeah, we might be reminded of the good parts of the pandemic. So on June 22nd, tomorrow, Mercury is stationing direct. It's stationing direct again in Gemini. And so it's going to be turning around and coming and heading toward Cancer. On the 24th, I'm going to speed this up a little bit here. Let me move this over. Oh, my goodness. Okay. There we go. 22, 23, and the 24th. Here we go. On the 24th, there we go. See, do you see this? We've got a direct hit of Venus opposite to Pluto. You're going to be feeling this for a couple days before it, a couple days after, throughout the week, really. If you're looking to get in touch with that stripped down version of love and adoration for a person or a thing, this means that there might be um, this is going to be a really good transit for that. It's just like that pure unadulterated sense of love and devotion and I'm just thinking of like those movies where it's just like they're so sappy because the love is just like it's love in its raw rare form. um that's what this transit is all about. Relationships too, it's almost like this stripping away and peeling back of relation when you get together with somebody and you want to know whether or not there's something that could be hidden underneath the surface. This is what that transit brings out. So it could be that you haven't been around your friends for a really really long time, and now you're getting together with them, or now you're traveling and you're actually able to be in their presence, and then you realize, oh my goodness, this is true about me, or X, Y, and Z is true about me. And I now see what's really really happening in my relationships. So this is a really interesting transit. And we also had a hit with this before, but it's coming back. So it's important to remember that when we're in a relationship, to pay attention to what is true for us and to express our needs, to express our boundaries. So when we do this, we may find ourselves dealing with power struggles. All right. Power, that's Pluto. So why is it that we argue? Why is there anger and fury in relationships? And that's because we need for others to respect our boundaries. And others are here specifically to reflect our boundaries back to us, to show us what those boundaries are. To say, hey, look, this is what's important to you. Honor that within yourself. So Pluto will drive you to get to the truth of who you are and the truth of your relationship. So if you're looking for those gems, this is a really excellent transit for that. But it also can be very very trying, and it'll teach you to stand up for yourself by handing you experiences that are uncomfortable to you until you're just fucking sick of it, really. So pay attention to what happens in your relationships around this date, all throughout this week. If there's a blow up, there's probably a good reason for it. And if you're in a if it's a great relationship, if it's a relationship that's serving you, then it very likely is just kind of going through a transition, a molding point, just it's shifting. We're all shifting. We're all going through this really weird, awkward phase right now. Again, we have Saturn, which is it's a planet of tradition, the things that we used to do over and over and over again, the way things used to be. And then Uranus, square to Uranus. And Uranus is like, yeah, but you know what? These are the things that need to change. Let's think about what needs to change. It's not just on a global level, but it's on a personal level. And it can cause so much upheaval. What is it that you want to keep in your life? And what is it that needs to change in your life? And it's just uncomfortable. It's a process of almost like cleaning out your closet. I was looking at my closet today, and literally I have so much crap in this closet. I have so many clothes. I'm embarrassed right now to go into this room. It's almost like a closet, a room closet. I'm embarrassed. It's awful. But I have so many clothes in there, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, okay, so I've got some sentimental connection to some of these things, but I don't ever wear them. Okay, so I need to get rid of those, and I also need to get rid of the things that I haven't worn in 2 years, and I need to so it's just like, it's that process of what is it that I wanna keep? What is it that I need to let go of? Um, and what is it that I really truly want to bring into my life? And that's that Venus. Those are those values. Um, Pluto once again is like, hey, wake up. What is it that you really truly want in your life? Um, and then you have Uranus and Saturn working together, or working not together, to make you really, really go, okay, this is what I want to keep. This is what I want to let go of. And it's not a comfortable feeling. Okay. So just be aware of that. I'll give yourself some space, give yourself the whatever it is that you need to honor yourself throughout this process. Um, yeah, that's just about it. So on the 26th, I'm gonna fast forward this so you can see it a little bit more. Here we go, the 26th. Look at that. We've got the moon conjunct Pluto. Oh boy. And it is also opposite uh, to Venus. And so the moon is going to be adding emotion to the mix, adding a little bit of insight into the mix. But this is an earthy moon. And so it may be a good time for you to do something like get out in nature, let out your frustrations, write it or dance it out, or, doing something like that could be very, very helpful. Putting your hands in the sand, doing some gardening. Yeah, so hopefully that's helpful. On the 27th, I'm just so excited because I'm looking at these dates and I'm like, I'm going to be with my family during these dates. But on the 27th, we have Mars opposite to Saturn, conjunct the moon. Right over here. Yes. So it's funny because the moon goes from being conjunct to Pluto and then it's conjunct to Saturn. So I'm looking forward to just kind of like as we move through the months, we're going to be focusing on the moon this month. The sun is next month. The moon is Cancer. It rolls over Cancer. The sun rolls over Leo. And after that, we've got Mercury and then Venus and da 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 da. And as we move through the zodiac, we get into those outer planets, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that too. So anyway, on the 27th, Mars is opposite to Saturn, conjunct the moon, and this correlates with some deep internal stirrings that may be aggravated. You may not be able to express what's happening. You may just kind of be feeling it, but not have the words to say it. But you know that something is there. Mars wants to take action. Mars is just going to be aggravated. It wants to do things, right? But Mars is also in Leo. So it's just kind of like, it's this fiery energy. It knows it wants to do things, but it just doesn't know what yet. So, so it wants to take action, which Saturn, the planet of restriction, it's going to win out because these are fixed axes. And so when I say fixed, it's Leo is a fixed sign. Once again, that's that energy that's kind of like staying. When you think of a lioness, like a Leo lioness, it's like, that lioness it holds the energy of lioness. And then it's also opposed to Saturn and the moon here in Aquarius, which again is holding that air energy. It's holding, and um it's asking, so basically it's asking you to go inward. You're going inward, examining those deep feels, which isn't necessarily comfortable for fire or air, but because this is Cancer season, you're gonna go inward. So don't be afraid. Okay, for although these two signs and these two elements aren't necessarily like, yay, we love Cancer. They're actually kind of like they don't necessarily get along with water. Not saying it's a bad thing, but it just might make you feel a little bit weird. So anyway, so Saturn is a planet of restriction. It's going to win out. It's asking you to simply sit with whatever comes up. Saturn rules over Aquarius, so Saturn just kind of has the dominant hand in this right now. But not sitting with it, not sitting with the emotions and diving in is going to make you feel a little bit more agitated. Okay. So around this date, give yourself the opportunity to dive into whatever is coming up for you and express. Okay. Mars and Leo. Okay. Mars is like, I want to do things. And Leo is like, express personal, creative expression, express those feelings. Okay. It wants to get out there. It wants to express itself. In fact, this is the best expression of this energy is personal expression, just playing with that energy, playing with that energy. Okay. So, Enrique, I see you're here. It's so great to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Jules. I don't see you usually. You're Sagittarius and you always take more clothes than you need. You know, I do too. I always take more clothes than I need when I'm traveling as well. And actually, I haven't even started traveling yet, or not traveling, packing yet. And so it'll be really interesting. We're just doing like all of the pre-packing stuff. And so I'm the one always saying, let's go. Yes. That's so funny. That is a very mutable thing to say. Hi, Crystal. It's so good to see you. I'm glad you caught me live too. Woo, this is fun. Okay. So I was going to get on here and I was going to talk to you a little bit more about just the Cancer energy, but I think I'm going to keep it pretty, I don't think it's short so far, but I do want to say that, okay, I'm stopping my share, but I do want to say that one of my favorite Cancerian folks. Well, number one is Mary England. We already had her on, so you're gonna have to check that out. But another one of my favorite Cancerian folks, Cancerian celebrities is Glenn Close. She's awesome, and I was going to show you her her stuff, but I don't have it here. It's yeah. Or no, not Glenn Close, Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep, she's one of the best ones. So anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about her this month. It's going to be super fun. And we are now in Cancer season. Woo woo, we're in Cancer season. All right, enjoy you guys. Have a great, great, great week. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. Mwah, mwah. Take care.